All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, Resident Evil Requiem, or Resident Evil 9, is almost upon us. Comes out at the end of the month, and I swear, there are so many games that I'm interested in that come out over the next few months. We have everything from Resident Evil 9 to Romeo is a Dead Man, which is from the same creators of No More Heroes. So for any of you No More Heroes fans out there, if you played any of those games, that's dropping. We got Pragmata, Crimson Desert, and then on the tail end of this year, potentially, if it doesn't get delayed again, we have GTA 6. But what I wanted to check out now is some footage from Resident Evil 9. Apparently there's just a little short film that's been out for the last few days that I wanted to check out, and then a little bit of some new gameplay that has dropped this week as well. So let's check that out.
It wasn't always like this. I used to think we were lucky. I thought we had it all. A simple house, good life, Sunday mornings, dance-offs, afternoons at the park,
The calm before the storm.
story time. It was our perfect little world.
Before all hell breaks loose.
Then it started. First the sirens, then the emergency broadcasts.
Due to the citywide outbreak, you were advised to take shelter at the Raccoon City Police Station. Food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
Then the screams. God, the screams. And then silence. And I learned something I never wanted to know. How fast everything you love can go away.
The bear.
We ran. We fought. We hid. And still, they came.
We all know what that was. That kind of gave me Last of Us vibes a
I
little
told
bit.
myself we would make it.
From the beginning of
We just
Last of
needed
Us
more
1
time.
when Joel was trying to get Ellie to safety.
You always think that you have more time
Oh, wow.
until you don't.
Dang.
If anyone finds this, tell them I tried. Tell them I was still me. Right up until the end.
That's the last of them. Facility secured.
Copy that. Raccoon City is ours.
All right, so let's check out this gameplay as well.
All staff, initiate emergency protocol.
Ooh.
Listen, I'm always gonna have a Leon-sized hole that needs filling, and from playing his portions in the latest Resident Evil Requiem preview, I'm pretty sure I'll be taken care of, for the year at least. The roundhouse kicks, the corny one-liners, and the brutal blood-splattering finishers, things I love from the recent Resident Evil 4 remake, round
All
out what's
that.
otherwise
All
a
this blood and
terrifying
gore, I
survival
love it.
horror experience.
Ooh.
And the crux of that survival horror is stealth and having the proper mechanics in place to make that tension tangible.
All right. I'm gonna stop this real quick. First off, I have to say, I know a little bit about the game. I have not seen too much of it, so this is kind of new to me a little bit. I know that there's supposed to be two different aspects to the game. There's kind of like a third person and then first person, from what I've heard. But this looks cool.
So not only does Grace's side of Requiem evoke a petrifying sense of dread atop the classic puzzle solving of the series, it's also a fantastic expression of the kind of stealth action gameplay I've been wanting for a while.
I like what I'm hearing.
Our recent Resident Evil Requiem preview by my colleague Dale Driver touched on plenty of sentiments that I share too. Most notable for me being the refreshing balance between the drastically different playstyles of Grace and Leon as dual protagonists. Grace being timid and having to rely on moving slowly and carefully, contrasting with Leon being the action hero who blasts through every zombie.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But it's the Grace sections where Capcom is doing something
That's
really
crazy.
special with stealth gameplay that feels natural and forward-thinking. Capcom has made a big deal out of zombie behavior, where their presumed personalities as humans feed into how they move and react in the game world as zombies. One example being the zombie fixated on light switches in a dark hallway that you have to pass through as Grace. Instead of taking him head on with your limited resources, you can slip by and hit a light switch down the hall to distract him to clear the path to the other end. While this isn't a complicated situation on its own, it's a microcosm of how Requiem is challenging you as Grace, where observation and the environment are just as important as staying out of sight.
I like
The game
that.
doesn't outright tell you this, so thinking outside the box can lead to more elegant solutions. This notion of watching out for zombie behavior is flipped around at times too, like when walking through the dining room where zombies are just feasting on the dead bodies on the table, not giving a damn about your presence and leaving you alone. I wasn't sure if they'd react to me poking around picking up items, yet I still treaded carefully and let them do their thing. So naturally figuring out how these enemies respond to you and their surroundings is a fascinating way to give variety to navigating the labyrinthian halls of Resident Evil and touch on some details that aren't often seen.
So two different play styles, two different mechanics. And
What's
it
more
looks
frightening
like
is the butcher who roams the kitchen.
it's gonna mesh
Early in the
well
preview,
together,
you have
honestly.
to slip through by pushing a cart to clear the path across the kitchen.
Now, is it gonna
And
be
you have
like
to do
first
this
half,
undetected,
second half,
which
like
requires you to
first
pay
half one
attention to his
character,
patrol pattern.
second
It's simple
half
enough,
one
and making a mistake
character, or
means
is it
he'll
gonna,
chase
like,
you down and show
flip-flop?
you how terrifying he is. One hit and you're dead.
Or do you get to kind of like choose which character you want to play as? I'm assuming you're probably going to get to choose which character you want to play as, and you get to play as that
But later
person's
in the
perspective.
playthrough, where you have to revisit that general
Unless it's
area,
two
he
different
begins
stories
patrolling the hallways
that kind
around the
of
kitchen, and
converge
here
into
his presence
one.
is truly felt. Hearing his footsteps set off alarms in my brain that he began lurking around, and the tension that created changed how I navigated an area that I already mapped out. I would duck and peek from adjacent rooms to see if he was coming, and make a mad dash to where I needed to go, hoping for the best and not looking back. One time I was peeking from the parlor room thinking I was out of sight, but the butcher caught me peeking just a little too confidently and pulled up on me. I now had this
I
cat
like
and mouse
that.
chase, luring him in one direction before juking him to get out of the room. Probably the biggest comedy of errors during my playtime came from dashing to the cold storage room where my
I like
next
the
objective
attention to
was.
detail,
I
how
had
her
a straight
hand
shot
shook
from like
from
3
the
hallways
recoil.
down, and I risked it all by booking it and letting fate take the wheel. Just as I got to the last stretch, there was the butcher turning the corner and ending up right in front of me on his new patrol pattern. I backpedaled in a panic,
said, "I
pumped
see
one
you,
of my
girl."
remaining shots from my super-powered Requiem pistol and the rest of my 9mm rounds, but it wasn't enough. So I just took the L and reloaded my save.
So is that supposed to... It feels like that's supposed to give you like a tyrant-like feeling.
The first time I got hit with a jump scare was when Chunk burst into a hallway after I picked up a quest item.
What the...
It began chasing me,
The
and it was
hell
easy
is
enough to
that?
run to a room for safety since it couldn't get through normal-sized door frames. But the rest of the surrounding hallways were fair game. And like many Resident Evils with puzzles, backtracking to this area later on filled me with dread. Thankfully, Chunk wasn't as overbearing, but he'd more frequently completely block certain paths,
His name is
forcing
Chunk.
me to either take the long way around or
Simple
wait
enough.
things out until the coast was clear. But on my first attempt, I wasn't exactly sure what its behavior pattern would be. And that's a key part of making stealth gameplay interesting and horror work well. It's that unpredictable nature of hostility. These stalker-type enemies aren't meant to be killed, as Grace at least, and they're also not quite like the persistent threats of Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 or Nemesis in Resident Evil 3. Each one seems to play a different
that
role
is
and present a
crazy.
different kind of dread throughout Requiem, which I suspect will lead to more variation.
He's infected.
Even thinking
Leon's
back to the
done.
very first
Wrap it
Requiem
up.
preview I played last year
Wrap
with
it
the
up.
monstrous patient
Go
roaming
home.
the halls of the patient wing in Grace's opening section, that was closer to a specifically scripted sequence. But it was much more of a close quarter stealth challenge where windows of opportunity to escape were tighter. So already, that's 3 unique enemies playing into a horror experience in their own ways.
I like that.
Hey, over here.
Requiem being primarily a survival horror game means it's going to be a bit outside of what we traditionally expect from stealth action games, or rather, the stealth mechanics you would see in many current action games, like hiding in tall grass, waiting for enemies to turn their backs, and getting a one-hit kill undetected. That's a tired trope at this point.
Oh, I'm gonna have some fun with. Damn.
Grace does get craftable single-use items for stealth kills, and I hope we're challenged by limiting the quantities so we can really consider when we use them. But even then, Requiem doesn't just deal in patrol patterns or throwing an object to cause a distraction. It also deals in vulnerability and the fear of unpredictability for Grace's chapters.
I'm gonna have some fun
and
with
it's not
that.
just the fear of getting detected, but the consequences that come with it. Grace's portion of the Requiem preview was about an hour and a half to 2 hours of playtime. And after that, I was pretty exhausted from the tension. Don't get me wrong, I was exhausted in a good way. However, that's what makes the interstitial Leon section so important. They're a reprieve and an outlet to get all that stress out, a palate cleanser to balance things out, and look at some of the same environments from a different perspective. This also offers a sort of best of both worlds approach for the series, the slow and deliberate pacing of like Resident Evil 7, alongside the top tier action from Resident Evil 4 as examples. So after getting hands-on with a total of about 4 hours of Resident Evil Requiem at this point, and sharing that experience with my colleagues, I'm more excited for the series than I have been in recent memory. It's the old mixed with the new, but all in a modern package with 2 protagonists I already like a lot. No shade to RE7 or RE Village,
GOAT
but
is back.
Ethan Winters doesn't compare to Grace, and definitely does not compare to my guy, Leon.
Dope.
And with a
Dope.
thoughtful mix of action and stealth gameplay, February 27th can't come soon enough when Resident Evil Requiem
Right?
hits PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. For more on Resident Evil Requiem, don't miss my colleague Dale's impressions of the latest preview build, as well as Logan's impressions of the Switch 2 version. And for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN.
Wow. So yeah, Resident Evil is nearly here. Just a couple more weeks, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited for it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you like this, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.